what is the role of the divine in this practice? Because some of the focus on the heart is really on cultivating this inner light in one's heart, and the literature in the tradition talks about it being a divine light. So where does God reside in this practice? And does one need to believe in God or in a particular type of God or divinity in order to do this practice?
You can have whatever faith you have. I mean, for example, I would say, before even going into that, what is meditation? Meditation is all about thinking on one ideal, keeping that thought on that ideal, and then moving from that thinking mind to a feeling heart. If you go on thinking about something, it is not meditation, even though you are successfully meditating on one idea. You meditate on love, for example. It's a thought. But if you could feel love, then it is meditation. See, here, when we say we meditate on divine light, it's just an idea. Like in mathematics, we say this plus this, hypothesis, is this or not this. We begin with an hypothesis. And at the end of it, we either prove or disprove it. So let's begin with this idea that the source of life or source of everything is in my heart. And modern research is also now is gearing towards the very first organ that is forming, the vital organ after conception, that keeps all of the organs going and nourished, is the heart. The seat of feelings is the heart. So I think when the object is to feel something rather than think something, be it God or be it a quality. Even if you don't believe in God, it's okay. Because just as gym is to our physical exercise, take meditation as mental exercise and graduate from there into some sort of a regulation of feelings.
Many people are talking about the fact, and you alluded to it earlier, that we're in the middle of a sort of spiritual revolution of consciousness right now across the planet. And consciousness has become a big topic of conversation, not just for spiritualists, but scientists as well. Right here on our campus, there's a lot of research going on in terms of what is the nature of consciousness through artificial intelligence or cognitive psychology, etc. And I think when people think of consciousness, we also think we think about it from a neuroscientific perspective, like what's happening in the brain. But you talk about consciousness in a different way, in a heart-centric way, where consciousness can reside even at a cellular level. So what does this approach to consciousness, or this conception of consciousness from a heartfulness perspective, look like? And how does that translate in our daily lives in a particularly meaningful way, our understanding of consciousness?
We have time to discuss all that?
I'll take it what you want.
Well, I'll put it very briefly, because we have just half hour of this interview and you're asking a week-long program. I'll put it very briefly on this. What is evolution after all? Okay. What you have heard so far in science is a physical evolution. If we have to evolve to the next level, for example, we will all differ. Somebody would say, I'd like to swim like a dolphin and yet retain human quality, or fly like a bird. So many things of that fantasy would emerge in our hearts and say, oh, I'd like to evolve to that level. But how long will it take for our genetic pattern to mutate and have those qualities? And will all human beings from all the continents evolve at the same rate? And even if they do, it will take millions of years. We can only age at our level and decay. Human system, the way it is today, it has no chance of evolution. It evolves at its own pace, at a micro level. Soul, or the life force, if you like to call it, is pure. It's immutable. It's perfect. It cannot change. So these two extremes, soul and its manifestation in the physical, this cannot change because it is pure soul. Body has only can decay. Then what are we talking about? We can only talk about something is in between, what we call subtle body. And these subtle bodies are four types. Number one is consciousness, inner consciousness. And this inner consciousness, how can it evolve and to what extent can it evolve? See? Second body is mind. The role of the mind is to think, and at its culmination, what would this faculty of mind evolve to? From thinking to feeling. Thinking mind to the feeling heart. Reactive mind to the responsive heart. That is evolution at a mental level. The third subtle body that we have is intellect. We can go on intellectualizing stuff, but wisdom has its own play. It comes out of experience. Fourth subtle body is all about ego. That helps us make decisions and gives the power to execute that decision that I do this or I don't do this. I cooperate or I don't. See, terrorism, for example. There is also ego, blatant ego, arrogance. Ego can manifest in mainly three ways. One is about self-pride. It's about this, you're the dean of this faculty. To introduce yourself that I am the dean of this institute, fine. There is no ego about it, it's a statement of fact.
In theory, right?
In theory.
Me particularly, there may be different, but yeah, in theory I get it. I am an Aries after all, so.
But secondly, if you say the ego at a different level now, suppose if I were a flute player and I give a performance in, let's say, New York City, audience is on their feet and, wow. Second week I give the performance and personally, I will not be happy if I perform exactly the way it was last time. I'd like to surpass my abilities. Otherwise, it will not give me true joy. Audience might be happy, but my heart will say, oh, you could have done better than last time. And when I can do that, which my ego will push me to do, then I have used my ego in a constructive way. It makes you proud. Right? But to say that no one is better than me, I am the best flutist in the world, all are useless guys, then that is blatant arrogance. So ego can manifest in so many ways, you see. So these four particular subtle bodies, especially the last three, can influence the consciousness. Consciousness on its own doesn't get a chance to evolve. Just like liver or spleen. It's easy to say I can exercise and build my biceps or run and jog. But this overall performance exercise will help the other organs also to grow. Consciousness on its own cannot evolve. But regulating the mind, thinking to feeling, intellect to wisdom, and refinement of ego to utmost humility, these three elements will affect our consciousness.
I want to talk a little bit about your personal journey. You recently became the leader of the Heartfulness Institute, and you, even though this tradition goes back to the Vedic era, it's literally timeless wisdom, you've really thought deeply about how to present it in a timely way so that it can be, many people can come to it regardless of their background. And in my own opinion, you are different than many of the other Indian spiritual teachers we've seen because you spent a lot of time in the United States. You raised your family in the United States. You're also a pharmacist, or you're a householder. You're in this world. You haven't renounced the world. You were not a swami. You're not a monk. You're actually in this world. So based on your own experiences, both in the tradition and in the United States, what drew you to this practice, and what is your vision moving forward with this practice? And I know you've redefined it as heartfulness, but what does that actually mean in terms of how this practice is offered to the world?
Well, I like to say that this meditation has nothing to do with faith. Faith is the outcome of your own experience. Before I can even experience, people start talking of faith. That should be removed from understanding. We should remove these dogmatic doctrines and knowledge-based awareness to experience-based awareness, you see. It's easy to talk about, especially in India. Again, I give the example of India. Because you ask anyone then, especially children, you believe in God, my dear boy? Yes, I do believe in God. Why do you believe in God? And they start laughing. You ask grandma, 80 years, 90 years old, do you believe in God? She would perhaps curse you for asking such a question. Why do you ask such a question, you see? But then if you further prod her and say, oh, please tell me, why do you believe in God? She says, oh, because my mother said so, or so-and-so said so, because we've been doing all this every day, so I believe in God. Sometimes I tend to think honesty of atheists, they don't believe in God because they haven't experienced. Most people claim they believe in God, but without the backing of experience. If we can only make young minds experience that, somehow, even an iota of peace, iota of some poise, stillness in the heart, we have, I think, transcended something. So the idea is to make the younger minds, especially today, to experience that silence, love, affection of that thing. See, it's not possible to talk something about unknown. Though we all understand God is there, some people don't believe, it's fine. It's okay. And those who believe, I would request them that yes, it's not enough to believe. Let our knowledge be backed by our experience. The way modern currencies, every day they change. Dollar versus sterling pounds versus European euros versus Australian dollars, Canadian dollars. They keep changing every day because something that backs it keeps changing. Earlier it used to be gold. Today it could be other instruments that backs that currency. But our belief, our experience, we remain hollow. When children ask, why do you believe? We are speechless. We have to say, my boy or girl, I'll help you experience that. Then there is more substance to it, you see. And experiencing once, is it enough? Many people, they say, oh, I meditated and I feel so good. But once in a lifetime experience, perhaps it could be worse type. Like if you become millionaire for one night, then you'll be suffering with the memory of being a millionaire for one night. See? Yeah. Then the next stage must emerge on its own that, okay, fine, I had the knowledge, now I have the experience, but it was one time. I like to make it permanent. Meditation once in the morning, it's of no use. If you're going to fix it only for the morning, you could be actively meditating every day, but all our endeavors, all our activities should be meditative in nature. When we talk with someone, we do things, there should be some meditativeness in that action. There should be this love oozing through our speech or through our looks. Even while we listen to younger children, that full attention should be there with a lot of love. Attitude matters in this case, you see. So this is my mission at the moment, to bring about heartfulness awareness in every house. Whether they do it or not is their business. But as and when they need it, they should think that yes, heartfulness is there. That's all.
One more question, then we'll move into a guided meditation. I spend a lot of time with religious and spiritual leaders and practitioners, and what I've noticed is that many people talk a good talk, but when it comes down to actually treating people according to their values, they may fall short. Or many people will be religious in their house of worship or will be spiritual when they're meditating, but that doesn't always translate into their day-to-day life. Heartfulness is a fully integrative spiritual system, meaning that it's not that you're spiritual when you're meditating, it's that this informs the rest of your life. How then should people bring a spiritual perspective into their full life as a parent, as a professional, as a friend, and not just leave it on the mat when they're meditating?
I like to actually go beyond spirituality, if you may like to address it that way, because these journeys is infinite. I would not say religious journey or spiritual journey. Of course, we made a big headway from knowledge, doctrines, to feelings and experiencing something. Sometimes it takes a long duration. In interpersonal relationship, for example, in the business world, you experience some sort of transactory relationship with other partners or vendors or clients. It can go on for 2 years, 3 years in the business world with your partners. You experience certain things. Then you decide, oh, this relationship was not so good. But if you had the ability to go beyond feelings and perceive things as they are, then you would say, oh, I wish I had perceived the reality right when I made a decision earlier. So now we're moving from knowledge to feelings to perception. Meditation helps us move from all this in a gradual way to evolve to higher and higher degree of consciousness. And then a stage may come, for most, where you can move away from this perception also, you see. Because this perception is also transitory in nature. And it is all about myself, my evolution, or somebody else's evolution. The true joy comes when the burden of the ego itself is gone, when I no longer exist, but pure consciousness is there, unamalgamated by my own desires, though you will be fulfilling your duties towards family, toward the society, toward the nation at large. This consciousness matters, which is all bliss. And my experience shows that even bliss becomes too heavy to handle. You say goodbye to all this, and that is true renunciation.
Well, we could have an Olympic swimming instructor give us the best lecture ever on swimming, but unless we get in the pool, it's not going to matter a whole lot. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to now put into practice what we've just learned. So I ask you, Kamaleshji, to lead us all into a